talk about identifying trends, because trends are really and truly these kind of magical sometimes. When you identify a pattern in your content that's associated with folks either coming or going. Like, did people leave when I did that? Or did people start showing up when I started to engage in a different way? So I mean, sometimes your game choice definitely has an impact on your audience. We've all seen it happen before. I'm like, we were just chatting and I'm getting ready to play my favorite game, and then boom, everybody leaves. I'm like, what happened? You know? And so it really is, sometimes they're literally just there for you, but I have to make a note of that. It's like, well, just chatting. So maybe I should definitely do that either longer, or I should start with the game that I want to play and then talk with them, you know, later on in the stream, which is kind of reapproaching my tactic when it comes to running my stream. Because yes, not everybody likes to watch you play a video game. They sometimes just like to watch you, which, hey, it's not so bad, right?
You're very nice.
No. So also this will help you identify your audience demographics. And where you're, like in your analytics, it will tell you where they're coming from. Like, are they coming from, and not just like physically where they are, but like, are they coming from, did they see your live notification? Was it from a specific website? Are they using a direct link? Are they searching for you on Twitch? You want to pay attention to all of those things, because then you want to learn how to maximize the use of those places. So I know for a fact that when I look at those, that like I have a lot of folks come from Twitter, and I post a lot on Twitter, or whatever it's called now. I'm glad we're all in agreement. We all agree. Yes. No, you know, like paying attention to that, like, okay, well, I'm going to post more than just going live things on Twitter. I'm actually going to post content on Twitter. And that made a huge difference in how people consumed my content, because now I was also reading them where they were finding me in the first place. And that, I feel like I want you to apply that to where you see your audience is coming from. Are they coming from TikTok? Are they coming from YouTube? Are they coming from your website? Because I know some of them have websites. You want to make sure that you are, if they are coming from your website, it's time to work on their website some more, you know what I'm saying? Because I just want you to understand that playing to your strength, but also playing the game to where they are, will help you win that game a lot sooner than you think. So,
along with that, I'll also say one to pay attention to, and it's a scary one, is there is a metric on how well your live event notifications are doing in terms of the audience reach, how many people engage with it, how that's actually doing. And the reason that I say that it's scary is because a lot of people don't look at that information, and so when they see it for the first time, they think, oh my god, that's super low. I'll say mine, for my latest engagement, if I'm remembering it correctly, was something like 16 to 17% of people have notifications enabled for my channel. I'm probably pretty low. I don't stream nearly as much as I used to, so that happens over time. People are like, no, I don't need to think about Rob that much.
oh.
But if you're aware of that, and you are having people that are coming back to the stream, and they are, coming in from other platforms, making sure that you're also reminding folks, how many people here have said, click subscribe and ring the bell? Everyone knows that, right? There's a version of that basically that can be done for Twitch. You can enable notifications, and then you can actually choose specifically for different channels if you want to get push notifications, everything like that. So making sure that your community is aware that that's something that they can do if they really are engaging, or something you can remind them. People sometimes just need to have that nudge. And so knowing what that looks like and knowing where you stand, you'll have a better sense of what's actually going on.
I mean, and not just that, it's like, I know some folks who, yes, they use the live notification, but they don't use it, if that makes sense. Like you said, you have to give them a nudge. You want to entice them to come and watch. Why should they come watch other than the fact that you want them to? Give them reason. Like, it doesn't have to be funny. It doesn't have to be smart. It just needs to be something that's informative, that gets them interested in coming into your stream from that live notification if they have them on, which you should be reminding them to turn on if they haven't. Like, even just you're like, don't feel like you're bugging them. Like, hey, if you don't have notifications turned on the stream, make sure you do that so you know when I'm going live next, and you get it during. Who's that? I won't take your focus, okay? So, I will. And taking notes. Good cover. I like that. All right, let's talk about some key metrics. So we talked about some data points that I think are really important for you to pay attention to. Let's talk about some key metrics. When I talk about these key metrics, so this is in the relation to the actual metric that you want to, if you want to be really nerdy about it, these are the numbers I want you to track. Pay attention to how they change over time. So viewer retention is the ability to retain viewers over the course of a stream. Not just, ever. This is over the course of a stream. The significance here is that high retention rates indicate that viewers find your content engaging and worth sticking around for. They like you. They come back because it's good. Or whatever you're doing, they like what's happening there. So, almost you want to check out peak viewer times, chat activity. We talked about this. So, the significance of this one is like when there are most people, when are most people watching your stream? When you're looking at your analytics, I want you to look at, all right, everybody knows the 2-hour grind, right? It usually takes about 2 hours for you to get into like the actual groove of your stream, and that's when people are actually showing up. So you want to pay attention to when that 2-hour grind is most successful, honestly. And then if it's not successful, it's like, well, is the time that you're streaming a good time to be streaming? You might want to consider a different time to stream. I remember there was a particular time where I was like, I used to stream every day, not every day, but after work most days in the evening. And it's okay, but guess what? Everybody streams in the evening after they're done with work. And so I was like, well, I'm just kind of putting myself in a position where it's like, well, I know now everybody's online, so maybe I should just pick a different time. So I got over it and I started waking up early in the morning, and I started streaming at a different time and saw a pretty significant bump, because now I have people who are either at or leaving work because they work late, or I have a whole different demographic of people from different countries that are watching now. So I have a whole new audience to figure out and find out what they like, and they share my stuff with their friends, and so on and so forth.
I'm going to chime in there. So if you haven't checked it out, there's a section of your dashboard that is research, and there's an analytics portion, and there is a new feature that we've put out, which is a suggested time to stream. And basically what it does is, depending on the category that you choose, it will show you what average viewership is like throughout a day. And you can choose things like, if I remember correctly, you can actually filter out like very high CCV streams, so it can be more, more scaled to where you are potentially. So check that out, because it's also not going to be the same for every category that you're going to want to stream. I talked about this yesterday a little bit. I'm a big fan of Destiny and Destiny 2, and when I went and looked at it, viewership is the highest during the weekly reset of Destiny. That makes sense. It's new content. That's when things are happening. People want to see the newest stuff right then. So being able to plan around when reset happens is great. You're able to capitalize on that interest in that particular moment. That's on Tuesdays. If I'm doing that for Marvel Snap, they have to reset daily at a certain time. So there are things that you can plan around.
Yeah, that's I have a problem.
So that kind of stuff can be really helpful, and we're trying to give you those metrics as well to try to help make informed decisions.
Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to get to is that, so the significance of this is that, like, seeing when your viewers are most engaged and or participating is important to understand what you can do better as a streamer in terms of entertaining and or just being a streamer in general. You want to know what you're doing well, and you want to do more of that since you know it's working for you. But then I also want you to focus, like, look at your key metrics and your off-platform content. This right here is probably one of the biggest things I feel like a lot of folks either overdo or underdo. I'll be very honest. I want you to analyze how that content is actually doing. Is it being shared? Is it being liked? Is it being commented on? The stuff that is working, what are they watching? What are they coming on? Like, focus on those things and the types of content that is, and do more of that. I see it all the time when people are like, yeah, I'm going to edit stuff and I'm going to put it out there, but then are you putting it out there just to put it out there, or are you putting it out there because it's getting engagement? That's what you want. You want that engagement for these posts, because then it's all driving it back to your Twitch channel. Because that's really the goal of all of this, is to get them to come watch you live, because that's where you build your community. You got anything on that one?
No, okay.
All right. Just wanted to.
I appreciate you.
All right. So let's talk about strategies. And so we've talked about these data points as these key metrics, and how could you use them to build out strategies to try things or to set a goal for growth?
This is a very Halloween slide, so I'll call that out.
Say what?
The orange, the black and orange.
It's wild.
Halloween.
Yes. Boy. So this is the last one of the day, huh? So this is an example. This is not a real person. This is very fake, but this is an example strategy. So we have streamer. This is the gaming guru. So a brief background about Sarah. Sarah is a full-time Twitch streamer who started with 0 followers a year ago. We all start at 0. We all start somewhere. She's now a partner with thousands of subscribers and an active, engaged community. So her metrics are: she has average views of 200. She's got follower growth of. These are some of her goals. Her follower growth goal is 10%. There's like a monthly increase of 10%, which is a lot, by the way, when I think about that. Chat activity is 1,000 messages per hour, and her subscriber count, she'd like for it to be 2,000. And so the strategies for the success in reaching those goals, Sarah has interactive overlays. She uses these interactive overlays to display like her recent followers and subscribers and tips that helps to foster more of a sense of community and recognition. People like to be recognized for things that they do for and with you. So that seems really simple, but it's also very powerful. I know we all have alerts for followers and subscribers, but it's just make sure that it's more than just the default alert. Like, make it something special and unique to your community. You'll see, I think, a little bit more of a powerful, positive engagement with those alerts because they're now more attuned to your community and you. She also has, for that active chat engagement she has her community. With her chat, she does these welcomes, these overly large, overly animated welcomes that she has for folks when they come into the stream, acting like as if they have been there before, even though they haven't been there before, but treating them like they've been there, which goes a long way in actually making people feel like they're a part of something when they just get there, which is kind of what the community is all about, you know? Let me see, because this is hard to read from here too. So just to set up, I did, but I want these folks to be able to see us over here because, you know, if I sat there, they can't see. So regular community game nights. Sarah hosts monthly game nights for her subscribers, encouraging viewers to become a part of her community. So you get access to those game nights as a subscriber, which gives you more chance to be in a space with the streamer. They want to hang out with you. You are the reason they're there, and so giving them those opportunities to do so, not a bad idea. And I would absolutely think I would like to think it would lead to that subscribe count of 2,000, which is also nuts. Why did I pick 2,000? It's wild.
Sarah's ambitious.
Sarah is ambitious. Yes, she is. And then actually I'm gonna back up. So this is an example, of course, but this is something I want you to. This is how I want you to frame setting your goals. Like, pick a strategy. Also identify what parts of that strategy you want to focus on and execute it that way. But we're going to talk about the goals that you set as a result of the strategy. Right? Okay. So the importance of setting goals. Goals provide direction and motivation, helping you track your progress and make improvements. That last part's important. And make improvements. Set both short-term and long-term goals to keep your Twitch journey fulfilling. Because if you're just like, yes, my goal is to be famous, I got news for you. This is not a very good long-term goal. But I appreciate you for being ambitious. I have some examples here. So like, one special event a month. You know, it's like, I am going to do a charity stream once a month where we raise money for an animal shelter. That is a special event. I set that as a goal for myself because then I'm raising money for charity. I'm engaging with my community, and we're doing something together to help build more camaraderie amongst ourselves in the community. Another one is like, this one is one that I made up, and then I was like, wow, that's a great idea actually. So it's beat the streamer at chess. You lose, you sub. So if I beat you at chess, you sub to my channel. So just little fun things like that. See, that's I'm having free. 5 gifts. That's Steve. I was just like, you have to sub. Geez. 5 gifts. So just giving your community things to look forward to like that is another really key point in trying to keep them engaged and coming back, and also will attribute to your overall goals, period. Because now you have one more thing that you don't have to think about, especially when you're doing this already, all the time.
I'll also say, when you're thinking about goals and how you actually want to set them and what you want to actually put out there, try to make goals that you actually can affect. Things like have one special event a month. That is something that you can control. As opposed to, I have a goal of 700 subscribers. Cool. You have a goal of 700 subscribers. What are you going to do to get to that goal? You're going to have that output goal of 700 subscribers, but what is the goal of something that you are going to actively do and have agency over to be able to actually get to that? So goals are great, but make sure that they're ones that you can actually have that agency.
Realistic, tangible goals. And that's why you see I did not put one of those goals in here. I wanted to give you a good example. But I also put here an example of like a personal development goal, because you also should be having goals for yourself, not just your channel. I want you to also think about growing. So like your presentation skills. Do you want to be better about? Do you want to learn how to read on a teleprompter? Do you want to work on your hosting skills? Do you want to work on your audio? Do you if you are doing DJ sets, do you want to like have your sets be cleaner? Like think about things you can do to better yourself as well, and that will also add to the overall growth of not just your channel, but you as a person, which possibly lead to more opportunities elsewhere. Who knows? I mean, I see a lot of stuff where we're like, yeah, this would be great for your channel, do this, but I'm like, I also want you to grow genuinely, because there's so many opportunities now that we didn't have before as people who create content in other places. So using your experiences and what you're doing here could potentially lead to something else. I was a full-time streamer before I got this job.
I have a degree in music.
See? So one of those things where there are opportunities now that did not exist, 5 years ago. And now we have these wild opportunities just because we're doing stuff that we love and we do it well. So that's just a note. All right, yeah, we did it. We got some questions. Because this is the part I really wanted to do. I wanted to talk to y'all about this. So we jumped over there real fast. But yes, use microphones. If you need access to a mic, if you need a microphone brought to you, please let us know and we'll get one brought over to you. But all right, we'll get started.
I had a quick question. So, do you deal with analytics for the cheers, bits, and subs?
So these are so this one is mostly focused on your engagement in your community.
Okay.
But we can also do one that's more of like the actual financial needs.
Okay. Well, then I'll ask my other question.
Yeah.
So there's a section of the analytics that I think is cool, but I don't know why it's helpful for me. Mm-hmm. It's the one where it says, for example, 20% of my viewers also watch this streamer. How can I use this information to help me?
Oh, so I love that, because that's showing you what your viewers are doing when you're not there. It's like, because I hate to say it, when you're offline, you're watching other people. Hey, Travis. But no, that gives you an opportunity to see the type of content that they also like outside of yours. And so that can give you ideas of maybe people to look into collaborating with. Maybe just go and see what they're playing. What do they like to do? And then also, I feel like it's a way for you to find another community to kind of maybe put yourself in. Who knows? It's just, I feel like there's a lot of different things you can do with that data, but I feel like it's mostly just to show you the types of things that they're watching when you're not online.
Okay, and then the last thing is just to maybe help other streamers. So something that I like doing is if I have the same sub goal number every single month, and once I reach it, it unlocks a giveaway for the end of the month for the following month, and then I use that money for the payout to pay for the prize. I'm a board game streamer, so I give them an option of 2 different board games or an expansion for pre-order from Game Nerds. And anyone can enter around the world, and if they're outside the continental US, they get an equivalent amount of Steam gift card. That way it drives interaction from everyone, not just people in the US continent.
I think that's a good idea. Thank you for that.
Perhaps I'm looking in the wrong area, so help me out here. I'm looking for marginal data, so with ads, I'm not sure if Twitch surfaces, say if I run this many, if I bump up ads a little bit, will it show like the drop off or like the CCP drop off or something. So like rather than doing my own A/B testing, which I guess I could do, what's more painful is does Twitch surface that, and am I looking in the wrong place?
I don't think the ads manager does that.
It does not, but that is something that we've raised feedback, and so I don't know if that is something that's going to be coming, but it's definitely something that I can understand where you're wanting to have that data, because you want to make sure that you are using the tools at your disposal to get the information and make those informed choices. As you're saying, A/B testing is a way to do that, but yes, we could give that to you directly. That's much easier.
Anything to reduce the friction.
Yeah, 1,000%. I totally get that. I don't know if that is on the roadmap, but it's something that I know I've passed on as feedback in the past, and I'm sure that they're thinking about what they can do.
And do me a favor, if you haven't already, check out user voice, see if somebody's already put it there, and if not, you put it there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi guys. What are the most common pitfalls you guys see with creators misinterpreting the channel analytics page?
And that's a really good question, because this is one that I've talked with a few folks in the guilds about, and I think the pitfall that people see is they see that the average number, and they're like, well, my average is so low. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's like it depends on how often you're streaming, but it also depends on like not just when you're streaming and how often you're streaming, but like there's a time factor that goes into this as well. Like more people will join the longer you're streaming. Simple as that. And so you want to make sure that you have a healthy and sustainable mindset when looking at numbers like that one. Because you're like, yeah, my average is so low. Like you have to think about it. You only have so much time.
Right, sample size.
Right, exactly. And so it really just depends. Another one I see people freak out about a lot, and this sounds silly. A lot of people get really concerned about their follower count, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, that would be the one.
Your follower count, while it is a good metric to put on a pitch deck or in your media kit, your follower count is not just gonna unlock the door for you. You know, yes, it's a good number to see that maybe you're doing something right. If you got a huge spike in followers, but if you focus on that one metric, it doesn't really help you interpret your data any better.
Thank you. And Ray, you killed it this weekend, by the way. Nice job.
Thank you
Nice
very
job.
much. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Are there any plans to add the dashboard analytics to the Twitch mobile app?
Ooh, I would love that.
Again, that has been feedback that has been passed around for sure. There's more that has been added to that, and I believe that they are working on revamping one more from what I have has been said in other panels, so I feel comfortable saying it here.
I'm not saying that.
I don't know what that's going to entail in terms of what that would look like, but it is something like mobile is a very important thing, obviously. It's something we're investing in when it comes to things like the mobile discovery feed, stories. Obviously, it's a place that we really want to focus on in terms of making it useful to folks. I can definitely see having the analytics there would be really useful. I'd be curious as to what is so appealing about it on mobile to you, as opposed to going to the computer and seeing it. If it's just like accessing it on the go, totally fine.
To be able to review, streams when I'm not at home.
Sure.
Just look through a VOD and see, like
Just
you're
that
saying,
immediate
the
time.
analytics, yeah.
Yeah, totally good. So, okay, and that's what I figured it was. I wasn't sure there was something else that I was missing. That's definitely something that's been passed along. So the answer is, but cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you.
Alright, short story, so I was streaming for a month, and then I recently hit affiliate, and then hardware had kind of messed up on me, so I had to fall out of streaming for a little bit, and plus I worked full time as a chef, and I wanted to get back into streaming, but not only change my niche, but change I want to stream more on my phone, since I just have my phone. So would the algorithm work against my favor since I've been out of streaming for a while?
Nope, I don't think that's how that works.
No.
No, it's one of those things where I'm sorry that happened because technical difficulties suck. I believe almost everybody in this room has had a tech problem. It's why is this like this? It worked last night. I understand. Or the internet is all of a sudden trash for some reason. Don't know what's happening. But I feel like if you doing something different, you want to do something new, I don't feel like that's going to hurt you at all. Actually, it might actually help because now you're reaching a whole new audience that you hadn't before.
Right.
So just get back in there. I'm looking forward to seeing you coming here as a partner next time.
All right, cool, for sure.
All right.
Thank you.
perspective, is this information available to us so we can go and find streamers that we want to work with?
It's a great question.
That is a good question.
Typically, it is not exposed as like over time. Obviously, you can go and you can see what their current viewership is and other data that is out there. There are aggregate sites that pull stuff, but it's not officially out there. So the answer is there is data out there, but take it with a grain of salt because it's not coming first party. It's something that we encourage streamers to put together. I know Ray had a really big thing previously about having pitch decks put together for content creators, making sure that you have the ability to share your analytics and have that data and are representing it accurately. So that's what we encourage streamers to do more. I do know that there has been an appetite for brands to be able to see that kind of information, and obviously, you know, they want to see it on other platforms, and sometimes it's easy to go to Twitter, they're calling it Twitter, and seeing, you know, engagement there in those things. So it's not necessarily as exposed from our side, but that does seem like that in the future.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I am also a board game and card game streamer. I only stream physical stuff. And so for board games, it's not as much of a problem, but for card games, discoverability is kind of bad in general. Like a lot of the big card games have digital versions, and so they have their own components on Twitch where people can go like straight to Magic or other things like that. But when you're streaming older card games or older or just other card games that aren't as represented, it can be really hard for viewers to find you in general. When I look at other people's channels, they split a lot into, sometimes they're in the card games section, other times they're in other sections that are similar in naming to the game that they're playing and stuff like that. And so I'm just wondering if that's something that's hopefully going to be addressed at some point, like better discoverability for things that aren't like AAA, you know, type stuff.
Yeah, so I don't have like a direct answer for you for that one, but we just did a talk with Dan, CEO, not too long ago. He talked about how this more approach of like streaming together and collaborating and working with each other is like, because he feels like categories are great for games,
right?
But not for everything else,
right?
So,
and especially when there's no like real directive as to where people should stream for certain stuff, and so now they're spread out all over. So it's even hard to find other people to collab with and stuff like that because of those issues. Yeah.
Right, but from that conversation, it lets me know that that's his thought process, which is good. So I can't promise anything, but just know that that's his thought process. Too,
yeah, one thing that would potentially help is like the tag system is good for some things, but for other things it's just not good. Like there's just a lot of tags that I think about to try to add to my stream that don't exist on the platform, and doesn't seem to be a good way to add them. So
oh, you can make them now. Yeah, free form tags. You can make your own tags.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. In the past, I had trouble with that, but yeah.
Totally.
No, you can do that now.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why we shifted to that free-form system, because it was so limiting and it wasn't meeting all the needs. But yeah, it's one of the big changes.
Awesome.
That's the only reason why I can use the King of Kansas tag. That's the only reason why it's a free form now. Also, like, we're gonna have time. If y'all just have like general questions about streaming at all, we've been doing this for a while, so if you have actually like any other questions that are not completely associated with this, just let me know. Ask you. This is the last one, and then who knows?
My question is about our view count, and should we be like distinguishing between views like focusing on organic view count as opposed to views from raiders, and maybe also lurkers watching on mute?
Now, when it comes to so I want you to say more about that. Do you want to know if you should pay attention to one type over the other, or if they're considered as a key metric?
Yeah, I'm thinking like if you're like trying to grow your channel, for example, streamers pushing for a partner, maybe asking for rates, but often there's a sense that organic viewers are like more helpful for that, and also in particular, many streamers ask raiders to like refresh the stream so that your view count. And I was also curious if that is actually important to get them to count as viewers.
So I don't believe that rates count towards your partner.
Correct. So the requirement for the 75 concurrent viewer on average for a partner in specific excludes raids and invites. But that doesn't mean that they don't count as viewers for your channel. So they absolutely will count for the absolute, so the overall viewership, they won't count towards that specific portion of the path to partner. Yeah. But that is not to say like everyone's important in terms of that regard. You know, lurkers, people who come in from raids, everything like that. So I wouldn't focus on one over the other. I would suggest, you know, not. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Lurkers make Twitch go round, and they are the ones that are there. That, you know, I was in a stream probably a month ago, and I was moderating this stream that's been around for about 10 years now, and we had someone come in and dropped a resub of 120 months.
How you do that?
120 months. Wow. And I was curious because I'd been a mod on that channel for the past 8 years. I went and I took a look in terms of their chat history. The only chat that they ever sent was that resub message. Wow. That is insane. So to say like people are going to be there to support you, and everyone's going to be, I think, mattering in that regard. So don't focus on one more than the other. What really is going to be the thing to focus on is going back to what we were referring to, like the returning viewer metric versus the new viewer metric. That would be where you might want to pay attention. But yeah, I wouldn't be otherwise too concerned.
Especially in terms of looking for partners, like if you're looking to add, like for, hey, how do I get closer to becoming a partner? Yes, that's the number you should pay attention to more.
If I may just add, but the comment about lurkers is basically like, do they actually count as a view? Like, say, if they're watching on mute, or should we be?
Yeah. If they're watching on mute, this is the people who are on mute, so they don't count as a viewer. Myth has been around as long as I've been on the platform.
Myth busted.
Yeah, they do count. If they are watching video, if they have the stream up, if it is playing, even if the stream is muted, they will still count. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I had kind of a two-part question.
I think I'll allow it. All right.
Okay, so I was helping one of my friends plan a subathon, and we were looking to see if there was any kind of way to see like the day that most people sub, so like when the prime subs come back up, so we could try and plan it for like the best day possible for them. We weren't able to find that data anywhere. I don't know if we just missed it and it's there. I don't know if I just missed it.
So the answer is it does exist.
Oh, okay.
So there are a couple of different sections to your analytics dashboard.
Okay.
The one that you're going to be able, what's that?
Especially now, they've added so much.
Yeah, there's so much. There is a revenue portion of the dashboard that allows you to take a look at when you have earned money from things, and then there's things. There's a overall analytics page that you're going to be able to look at. The thing that a lot of people don't realize, and it took me a little bit to realize it too, if you go and look at the analytics dashboard, across the top you're seeing, I think it's 4 numbers that are up there. And it's defaults to subs, ads run, something else. I can't remember what the others are. You can actually click on the arrows next to them and change those. And so it'll actually show you things like subs, and when they came in, and they will actually break that out into gifted subs, recurring subs, and prime subs. So you can use that to be your metric.
So you can see like per day.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
It breaks it down. You can set it for, you can do it daily, you can do it weekly, you can do it monthly. You can change all that through the analytic dashboard. I'll suggest, as an overview as well, check out the help page on the analytics dashboard, because it goes over a lot of this as well.
It breaks down a lot.
And it gives you some pretty pictures, because I'm telling you things, but pretty pictures.
And I think the other part of my question was, trying to help them grow, right? And we're talking about like the goals and setting events and whatnot. I know you mentioned the like Eat Streamer event that was really well for you. I know the subathons are really big for people. Are there any other like big events that help draw in a lot of people that you guys like?
I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
Like, what was it?
You want to talk about what we're doing?
Nope. But I know YouTube, he does the paranormal streams, which that's a huge thing. It's really cool. Like he goes to haunted locations and like streams it. It's wild. So like you can make most things in a day, And so it truly depends on your audience and what you want to do. But in terms of like bringing in new people, it just depends on how you get it in front of them. That's what I feel like, because like, yeah, being the streamer is a thing, but it's nothing until I get it in front of people and tell them what it is. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
My question is just, have you guys ever thought about adding more detailed demographic information, such as age, probably not sex, but it's like perhaps age, I don't know.
Thought about a lot. But specifically on that, I'll say this: we are not decision makers in that regard, so I can't say what has or has not been determined behind the scenes. I will say though that when it comes to things like age, race, everything like that, that really gets into a what is referred to as personally identifying information, and so we have to be very careful about how we disclose that, because we want to make sure that the identities of the individuals that are there are protected. Now, that's not to say that we might not be able to in the future, because I know that other platforms will expose some of that information. You know, we'll see. I think YouTube does in terms of their stuff. So not to say we won't in the future. I don't think that is a gigantic priority right now, but it's something that may come in the future.
Now, can I ask you, what would you use those metrics for?
Just say, I would normally try and see what attracts, like what is that normal, what is that age group or normally into?
Gotcha.
In general.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So, well, I mean, like I said, I don't feel like it's not impossible. Just not sure if that's something yet that we'll see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably if you reach a certain number of followers and active viewers, because if you're a streamer and you have 5 viewers, and those are your 5 viewers for your month, guess what? You just revealed your personal information through aggregation.
Yeah,
aggregation is the problem.
The disambiguation is really what's important there to protect that identity. So yeah, it is a scale thing at times. So even then, I don't know what that would look like, but it's definitely something that, again, as Ray mentioned earlier, if you haven't had a chance to do so, Twitch user voice, you can do a search for that, you can find it. There's a forum where you can go and submit ideas and provide feedback that our product teams do look at, and they particularly look at like how much of it has been uploaded, what we actually get here into the community. So if that's not there, add it. And if it's not something that they've been considering, that'll help you consider.
You know, another tip though, you want to know what your community and the people who watch are into? Ask them.
Yeah.
Straight up. Just ask them, what do y'all like? What are you into? Like, what TV shows do you watch?
Yeah, but I would like ask them.
They lie.
The chatters would answer, and then there's the percent of lurkers.
Well, yeah, but you know, you also will get some people who genuinely won't answer. And you know, you usually tell the folks who are actually there to actually be a part of your conversation and the folks who aren't. So it just depends. But yeah, I would say ask them, but also use those analytics that we talked about before, where it'll show you like the people that they watch, the other categories that they like to be, and watch the other communities that you share, like they share with you, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what they're also into. So it's a roundabout way of kind of getting what you're talking about, but it's not perfect, but it's something.
My community apparently likes watching Fast Lane. That's not happening. So, but like I know that they do, and they're like, why?
I community likes to leave, and I don't know why.
You keep talking about it.
But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks.
This is a question coming from a potential manager position or a streamer or a moderator. Is there any method for sharing live analytics with somebody who does not have access to like the streamer's account? Like, let's say I'm an outside party and the person I'm helping grow as a streamer is live, and I want it to be like, oh hey, just as a heads up, you're going into a little bit of a lull. Is there any way that that information can be shared with me without having to like log into their account?
I told Barry he should have been here. Barry's really good with the data analytics, and that's why I'm like, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know if live view analytics for a person who doesn't have access to the account is a thing.
So I can't remember exactly all of the permission sets. I have to go back and double check it. But editors do have a lot of access to information for channels, so they can actually go and see stuff that's in the dashboard. In terms of real-time live stuff, I don't believe that's there because if I'm remembering correctly, it's not hold until there's the aggregation at the end of the stream. So it's not showing you that up and down the chart, which I definitely understand how much that would be
That
useful.
would be really useful for somebody to know when, like, there's, hey, you're plateauing. So, kind of like, this is the time to run ads, So, like, something like that, I do like that. Use a voice. Straight up. If it's not on use a voice, it's good on use a voice. And I feel like it's kind of like a running joke, but it is real. Like, they use a voice for real when they're looking to see comments from the community about certain things. So, please. Yeah. Thank you.
So, two of the questions that I had were already answered, so thank you for that. But that actually came up with a new question. The question was, you were saying, if I get rated, for example, some portion of that is not going to count towards my partner status.
Any rated viewership will not count.
Right. Here's what's interesting, though. We need to morph that, I believe, because, for example, I've been collaborating with several streamers, and we've actually worked a schedule together, right? So at certain times, they're about to get off, I'm getting in. I inherit his audience, and I maintain at least 50 to 60% of my audience through at least the entirety of my stream. So I'm getting hit, and actually he's getting hit from any previous people who were rated in, yet we have achieved the objective of a partner, which is to retain the community and grow the community. And so therefore, I don't feel like the objective is being met. I think we need to maybe have that conversation with leadership. Like, hey, wait a minute. These three streamers are now working together, and they're collaborating, and they're building a community that supports each other. They come visit each other all the time. Why can we not maybe consider this as part of the analytics system and maybe a reward to everybody that's actually investing the time to become a partner in the system?
I think that's kind of cool. But also, and this is just you give me a thought when you were talking about it. I'm like, what if you just put the link to the person's channel in the chat, and instead of officially rating, you all just click the link and go.
See, but then you have your lurkers. What do you do with those lurkers?
Well,
I really enjoy, and they could have turned me off, right? They could have been like, you know what? I don't like that Wizards guy, so I'm gonna go change channels now. Because you have the person that's, let's give an example, right? You have mom and dad, mom's cooking dinner, or dad's the one cooking dinner, right? Nowadays it doesn't matter, right? And they just want to watch the stream. They're not gonna participate, and they go ahead and rate me, and it's like back in the old days, public television, like, oh honey, I don't like that show, change it out. Right? But they chose not to change the dial. They chose to continue watching my stream. And so why would I be punished to continue to provide that entertainment, investing my time in that? Yeah, sure, I'm getting compensated financially, right? Because I do have ads, and consider maybe one of them subs to me. But the key, I think, purpose that a lot of us here are trying to achieve is partner. I feel like that's a huge disadvantage for us. Again, it's just my feeling.
No, I appreciate the perspective. Honestly, I do. It's one of those things where I'm like, there are parts of that I absolutely can see as that's valid. It makes sense. I feel like the easier you can become a partner by doing the work, I'm personally out for it. I want to make sure that people can achieve the goals that they want and that they set for themselves. But it's one of those things where I feel like when we start to have discussions like that of like a shared, like, hey, there's people who can take advantage of that and they gain that system,
Absolutely.
And that's what I worry about with stuff like that. But I won't say that that's parts of that aren't.
And also say,
unapplicable to any of this, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I can't say specifically why the decisions were made and what it is that led to them, but I do know that those conversations are had and are very carefully considered. So it's not, we as a platform do not want to punish people. We want people to succeed, we want you to grow, we want you to have a great experience. So decisions like that are not made lightly, and they are reconsidered, but that's not to say that we won't change it again in the future. It's entirely possible that it may come up. So again, I can't speak to if that is a change that is going to happen, but I definitely understand.
I mean, we do have, or let me see, when I say we actually, because I have my loyalty to Twitch, right? We do have Kick, we do have TikTok, we do have all these other platforms that are, in a way, rewarding quicker access to attain some kind of monetization. I understand why we have kind of tightened the access to partnership. I also get it, because you can't just let everybody in the door. I understand that part. But I think competition is now increasing. And I think, if you want to keep more people engaged and committed to being part of the Twitch community, there has to be something in it for them as well. And I really hope, I'm just hoping, I really hope that it does happen. I'm hopeful, let me put it that way.
So did you watch the keynote? Because simulcasting is a thing. Okay. So you can stream on those things. You can make content on those things.
But apparently, like, last I read, I can't multi-stream, simulcast to Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. I can't do that, and Kick, without really violating my contract. Right? So like, that's how you think of it right now.
That's literally what they said.
When did they change it?
They moved today.
Welcome to TwitchCon!
I appreciate that. Thank you guys, because that was a big deal for me. I was like, I can't multi-stream. So that literally just happened. Okay, well,
We did that just for you.
It's
But
classic.
right now, we did that just for you.
I'm changing the right direction.
I got you, man. So listen, thank you for asking the question, but it is important. I feel like with them opening that gate for simulcasting
That was
is
huge.
So it's good. So
That
you
was a
know.
good question answer. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Sorry.
It's all good, it's all good. What apps or services or even products would you recommend for someone that's streaming like mobile? Because I recently bought like the little lapel mic and a tripod.
Yeah. Which I mean, that, and I feel like it's whatever because I don't like to pocket watch nobody. I'm not gonna because it just really depends on what you're comfortable with spending on things. I mean, yeah, some things are not worth it, but I'm sure you can ask. There's so many streamers here that are just running around that you can ask questions and be like, hey, does that work? Do you enjoy that? That can talk to it way more than I do. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want to give you bad information. But I'm sure there'll be some people who might answer that question if you ask me.
Yeah. Okay, how about the apps? Like, especially for like panels, alerts, and stuff like that. Or is there anything for like mobile?
Canva is my go-to for building anything graphical, period. Canva. C-A-N-V-A. That's the right?
Yep.
So check that out. It makes it really easy to put together things. Like it has all the sizes and everything. So like it's a good place to start. For sure.
And as far as alerts,
And it's free.
we have our own alert system now. So if you make an alert, if you have a icon, if you have images, if you have sound, the alert system is built there for you, first party. You can utilize that. There are a bunch of others that are out there, but as a starting point, I would definitely recommend the alert system. And what's really great about it is we have alerts that are very specific within Twitch that other systems don't have access to. So definitely check that out if you haven't had a chance to.
Okay.
Yeah, I had troll alerts on my account where gunshots or things like that.
Oh,
Because of the games that I play.
Are you a Tarkov streamer?
No,
Okay.
Showdown.
No, I'm kidding.
Not Showdown, so Tarkov.
Okay. There you
But
go.
yeah, the other alert systems, they would be almost enough of a delay that I would look over and see it before it happened.
Yeah.
And setting it up through Twitch, it's happening before, so it's working much better, and people are using a lot more because of it.
That's good feedback here. So that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Last thing. So before my computer went out, I've been like doing like gaming streaming. But now like I want to stream on my phone. I want to do like cooking streaming. So would like my current audience be out of the way, or like not necessarily like would they be uninterested in me like just cooking because I don't really tell them like.
Ask them. Like everybody loves food. People watch them. People just watch people eat.
Yeah, there's successful cooking streams. I've
And they're
seen
there to
some.
watch you.
So yeah, it is absolutely possible they would love to watch you cook. For real. So just give it a shot. Honestly, just try it. Yeah, and then if they like you, might attract other folks that do like it. So give it a shot. All right. Last one. The last one.
So earlier it was mentioned that there's analytics for what content to stream when, like specific times. And I was wondering, like, would you say is more important, either streaming on at a consistent time and day, or streaming when that game or category is most viewed?
That's a great question.
Man, both. I'm sorry, that's really sorry, but honestly, I'm like, you want to remain, the consistency is what will really give you the actual growth that you're looking for. Yeah, the game, it might be something you hate, you know, and so you have to be careful with that too. So it's just honestly, I would personally pick the preference of like staying consistent and having that schedule. But then maybe playing around with when you play one of those that you see listed.
Like throw one stream a week out there that's like at a different time.
Yeah.
To try to like
To capitalize on this, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of stuff is really great. Or if you are streaming for a longer time and you're trying to figure out when should you switch into a different category, that can be a way to also figure it out as well. So it's just giving you data for making informed decisions. But I think to Ray's point, the most important thing is doing what is right for you and what can stay consistent for you. Because if you are going to change up your schedule every week, then people aren't going to know when to tune in. So making it where you're doing a consistent one and you're having those streams, it doesn't have to be at the same time every day, but making sure that week over week over week, it's the same schedule, that's probably going to be the most beneficial.
Where can you find that info again?
So it's in your creator dashboard. If you click on the, I believe it's research on the left-hand side, under analytics.
Yeah, if you want to learn more like detailed stuff about the parts of analytics, go to the help center and type in analytics, and they have an entire breakdown of what everything means and how it works and what goes into it.
Okay.
Well, hey, y'all did it. Thank you so much for being here.